born from the dark desires of mankind, are demons called horrors. Not only are they born from them, but possess the humans and feast upon them as well. And the only ones capable of combating them are a line of golden knights who take the name Garo, meaning the Fanged Wolf. The current Garo is a man named Saejima Koga, who has been trained to be one by his father, Taiga, since he was a boy. And when Koga becomes Garo, he has 99.9 seconds to defeat his enemy, or something really bad will happen, which you will have to watch to find out. One night on one of his hunts at an art gallery, a young beautiful artist named Mitsuki Kaoru is stained by the blood of the slain horrors. As a result, Koga has to kill her, but chooses not to so he can use her as bait for other horrors and maybe find a way to save her. But to make things worse, if Kaoru does not kill her now, if Koga does not kill Kaoru now, after 100 days, she will die a very, very awful death, of which the details I will not get into due to spoiler reasons, but I will spoil the biggest part for you. After one dies, during your funeral, the Westboro Baptist Church will crash it and blame the gays on why horrors exist. Okay, if you want to know whether or not I'm joking, watch the series yourself, and I will now give you reasons why you might want to watch it at the start of this review. Even though this is a Tokusatsu series, this is not a Tokusatsu series for children. The series is purely dark and much darker than children's shows such as Jetman and Kamen Rider Black, and I thought those shows were relatively dark. But Garo takes it to a level that is appropriate for its more mature target audience. And not just the story, but content as well. There's actually nudity, and the violence is very disturbing. It's not done for the sake of fan service, but these are techniques used to effectively establish and portray the dark and mature atmosphere of the series, and to tell its story in that fashion as well. A part of the story is told through exposition, but is consistent in one of its themes, understanding one's legacy and how to carry it on. Koga and Kaoru lost their parents when they were very young, and they resent their parents in some way, but at the same time, they are choosing to follow what they did in their lives. Koga, of course, is now Garo and fights the horrors, and Kaoru is now an artist like her father. I think the exposition, the flashbacks, hurt the pace a little bit, but if you want to see the story move forward, but the flashback episodes are necessary, and they are appropriately placed, and they don't do it like Naruto, where they put them in an important part of the story. The legacy is also part of the character development in its own way as well, but the relationship development is also very excellent. Of course, Koga and Kaoru have an uneasy relationship, and despite the supernatural atmosphere behind the tension, in its own way the tension in the relationship was something I felt I could relate to. On one hand, you know you have to tell them something important, but you can't, but at the same time, you are doing something about it, which justifies why that person can't tell them that. I have experienced something like this in my life, and I liked how this was done. Also, Koga is initially shown as someone who really has little to no social skills, and of course, it shows why he's like that, but also shows a great job that he does care about other people. And eventually, there is the arrival of the Silver Knight Zero, who is also named Rei, which of course means Zero in Japanese. He is a rival/reluctant ally of Koga, and their relationship is also interesting during the course of the show. Kaoru kind of lightens the mood, but not to the point of humor, and she has her own thing going on as well, and she is an important character. Another quality I liked was what defines the duties of being a knight that fights the horrors. Is it for the sake of fighting the horrors that will never end, or to protect humanity? And the conflict is something that will be presented throughout the show. After a human is possessed by a horror, there is no turning back, and once Koga kills that horror, the possessed human also dies, which is something that I found to be pretty disturbing. So the definition of duty is also a theme that appealed to me to this series, and the consequences of that is taken to a level before the climax in a way you don't see coming. And for that, I give the story and characters a 9.5 out of 10. The action is just incredible. The camera angles tends to be mostly shot lower, which excellently shows the kicks. The sword fighting feels like, a classic samurai movie, and the choreography is excellently technical and exciting at the same time. The overall quality of the action is just too good for TV and is beyond Hollywood. The action has influences from samurai movies to wuxia. It may not be to the level of, say, Kitamura Ryuhei, where it can get a little matrixy, but it's well-grounded, technical, and is also brutally violent. Some of the violence can be direct and some of it can be suggestive, but it will disturb you in one way or another. The only flaw is, of course, the quality of the CGI. It is the quality to, let's say, a pre-rendered and not fully rendered, but watching it still captures a certain kind of imagination that combines danger and excitement. What makes up in lack of special effects, there's emotional content, as Bruce Lee would suggest. I know Christian Bale once said that special effects can be cool, but it means nothing if you don't have a story to tell, and Garo does a good job of that. It may not have quality special effects, but it does have a story to tell. It does break up the visual rhythm, and you can still see what's going on, and you do have a feeling what the intentions are. Koga most of the time will fight without his armor due to the time limit behind it, and the actor and stuntmen do a great job of displaying swordsmanship and hand-to-hand combat. And when he's Garo, even though it looks heavy, he still looks considerably fast, but he also shows it will make him stronger in certain ways. The armor itself is just so cool to look at. It is scary, but yet also has this dignified feel to it. So I leave the action at another 9.5 out of 10. As for the music, Kageyama Hironobu, the guy who sang the DBZ theme songs, does the songs to this and also voices Koga's talking ring, Zaruba. The music has this majestic feel to it that represents the night quality. It also appropriately captures the intense atmosphere, but also represents that there is also hope. And the quality that Kageyama brings isn't as childish as DBZ, but he also brings a distinct kind of tone to the theme song that is appropriate to Garo, which you have to hear for yourself. And for that, I give the music a perfect 10 out of 10. Well, if you want a gateway to Tokusatsu, this might yes or no be your series. Keep in mind that most Tokusatsu series are for general audiences, while this is more for mature audiences, which I have been pointing out for the duration of this review. But if you want something that has, a dark, anime quality, this might be the series for you. I feel it does a good job not being too gimmicky as well. The characters, I will admit, are kind of archetypical, but work in their own way. But if you want something with not just action, but with good story and imagination, this is the series for you. I say watch this series like you're watching a horror film, but with a superhero in it, but doesn't really hurt the horror qualities of the show. So if you really want something to watch, that is something kind of more distinct and exciting, I say for anyone that took the time to watch this review, check out this series. I believe you can watch it either at Tokusatsu.me or krdl.info, and I will conclude this review with an overall score of a 9.6 out of 10. And thank you for watching. And once again, you can see the series at either krdl.info or Tokusatsu.me. That's all. Cool.